Just left where I left off yesterday. You want to say hi? Hi. Do not try to confuse the court, Wright. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase.
I'm like back here.
Well, the police were spending their time getting to the crime scene. Unfortunately, Mr. Goodo, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary in his own words. I did not touch anything else except the mirror.
Look at him. Look, I got a notification for your live stream.
Already?
Yeah.
Yep.
Your face is on here.
Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. In the light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear which he couldn't hear? Ha! You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, Trite, then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then I'll be much closer to the truth. I can feel it. I feel like I could better save every step of the way. So, this is just right at the end of the last case. Are you going to be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick? There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? You watching? Or are you just watching? You're gonna okay. There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. If it all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony... And oops, no reason. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. Oh crap, 3 bars. The reason behind all the contradiction in Mr. testimony is simple. Mr. Kudo made a mistake? No. The ear doctor made a mistake? No. The victim was a phony. If I got one of those wrong, I'd lose 3 bars.
Really?
Yep. That's why 3 was flashing. This case is riddled with contradictions.
Sorry.
Yet there is one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what is that? The incident that Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were 2 completely different events. What? Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter, a phony, pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left ear. That's how he ended up here wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. So someone reenacted a crime scene in order to implicate the client. Phew! Prosecution can't explain this one, so therefore the argument... Yeah, he's a coffee trigger. Order! Order in the court! Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom! Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here? What did you just say? Trite, are you saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was a...
Doesn't look like that Star Trek character?
Geordie LaForge?
Yes.
Let me take a look.
Like, he's also blind, right?
Geordie LaForge.
Like,
Yeah,
he
but...
doesn't look like him. I mean, I'm talking about that thing. Like, it's the same concept, though.
His visor was a little bit different. This one's just...
He's blind, though, too.
No, he's not blind. He can actually see, but...
Oh, I thought he was blind.
Saying was a setup? Yes. Someone pretended to be McGlenn Elk and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of the one for Mr. Kudo. Objection. Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that? Isn't it obvious? The whole thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about at the testimony was... The first serving girl brought him a Jabakino, but she put something in it. That's the serving girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well! It's hard to believe... What? There was only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee. Are you insinuating that the waitress and the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there are no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but... It's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening. That's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct? Oh la la! This is most difficult for me. Objection. No, it's quite simple. All you had to do is testify. You're under oath after all. Was there in fact a phony at the Trisby that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. The defendant's request for the additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events in the restaurant that day. Ooh, oui. Let's see you try to lie your way out of this one. Let's see, you try to find the contradiction.
You're a banana.
You're an apple.
Yeah, well, you're orange. An orange.
Are you saying I'm a clementine?
You're a beautiful clementine.
I know. In the restaurant. La victime, Monsieur L, came to my restaurant alone. I remember that old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word won the lottery, Mon L became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. There was no time for La Phony to do the acting. No phony. Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all. Si vous demandez pardon, forgive me, Your Honor.
Honor.
I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly. So, in other words, you committed perjury in a court of law. Well, what you've just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later. Oui. For now, we will hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please. He took that perjury charge a bit too well. But I'm guessing he'll be in much more serious trouble after this cross-examination. Frackin' lad on the stand. What? Is it just my way of describing this? Alright. Cross-examination time.
Are you okay with this?
Hold it!
Are you okay with this?
Yes. Was he alone at the table as well? Miss, oui, I saw him from la
He
kitchen.
has red eyes.
Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table. Ha! Unfortunately for you, Wright, yesterday's witness also testified the victim was alone. You know, seeing you squirm like this, that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite. What kind of coffee has he been drinking? It's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet. Hearing Maya say that makes her seem all wise all of a sudden. You like the story?
Yeah. I like your curls.
I remember that old man arrived not long after him. Hold it! You're talking about...
Scared me.
By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? Oui, he comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. And only a sip, because anything after that is completely unnecessary. Oh, you make me so happy, Monsieur. You're most welcome anytime. I said it was worth one sip and nothing more. Exactly what I just said. Because I knew he was going to say that. Because the coffee tastes not very good.
Thank you. How did you know?
Because I saw it for 1 second and you were thirsty. So...
How did you know I was thirsty?
Because I mentioned about one sip and somehow got you taking more than one sip. Or probably just one sip. We're at the restaurant at the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask more about arrival. How many minutes after? What time was it? What time is it? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? Oh no, I cannot remember, monsieur. I believe we were told that by witness yesterday. The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man, sir. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness? The incident happened about 20 minutes...
I like how the judge's name is Judge.
Yeah, he's never identified in the entire game. Or the series.
You played this before?
Yeah, I played this game. And I was hoping I could finish it off. So the victim must have arrived between 2 and 2:18 p.m., no? Just after 2, huh? Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful. Ha 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 ha! I can't sit here all the time and do nothing, can I? The time of the day will also be added to the witness's testimony. Oui, monsieur judge, everything I do it for you. Monsieur bien. That's French, isn't it? Merci bien. Ha ha. I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood. He's even humming a song to himself. I can remember the old man arrived not long after him. It is a dude. Just...
Sometimes you just can't tell.
I could tell. I remember the old man arrived not long after him, just after 2 p.m. Hold it! Are you absolutely sure about the time? When I think about it really odd, I'm sure it was just after 2. Me. It is that time I stopped serving the lunch menu. Quite right, I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving their specials. but no wind up in the case just to make it on time. Ha, you should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch. Oh, just look at that. It's almost lunchtime already. No! Witness! Get on with your testimony, please. You're not wrapping up the case too. There will no other customers. Hold it! So your only customers were Mr. Kudo and the victim. Why would you object to that? How many times do you need to ask the same thing, Wright? You never catch me drinking the same blend twice. Huh? You're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in the restaurant, but you're wasting your time. You can't grind birdseed to make coffee if you catch my drift. But there's a hole in the testimony somewhere, I'm sure of it. But where? When you got the word and won the lottery, Mon Ilk became very excited. Hold it! Did you see him? No, I was in the kitchen, but I heard him. I remember him shouting, "Yes! $500,000! So the victim, before he drank the poison coffee, yelled out he won the lottery. Presumably the defendant heard that too, then, correct? Maggie, she looked like a poor little frightened dove. And what about Mr. Kudo? The old man choked on the bird seeds that got stuck in his throat. It seems we now have yet another incident on our hands. It was approximately 5 minutes after that poisoning incident occurred. Hold it! And what were you doing at that point? Without any customers, you must have had time to kill. I am a multi-talented woman, monsieur. Sorry? What do you mean? There is a renowned chef Jean Armstrong, the tragic poet Clarice Armstrong. Clarice? Oui, I was writing a poem, an angry tale of a chef in $500,000 debt, cooking for a man who won $500,000 on the lottery. It is called Pourquoi. It means why. Perhaps I could recite it in the court. Please don't! No, there was no time for a phony to do the acting. Hold it! You mean you contacted the police as soon as the incident occurred? I asked the old man to call from the payphone. By your own argument, Wright, the purpose of this phony victim's performance was so that the old man would see it. In other words, once the incident occurred, this opportunity would completely disappear. Indeed. Bien, it seems this shadow of doubt has been lifted, n'est-ce pas? I guess Mr. Armstrong is completely connected to the case, huh? Absolutely. Someone was impersonating Mr. Ellick, and I refuse to believe that he was oblivious. He was there the whole time after all. But if you're right, wouldn't Maggie have noticed too? She fell unconscious when the incident occurred, remember? Ah, you mean that's when the phony staged his act? We'll know for sure once I find a hole in this testimony. Where's the hole? There's a single hole in this, and I gotta find it. But where?
You know exactly where
The old man arrived not long after, just 2 p.m.
You know exactly where
There were no other customers. When he got word he won the lottery, Mon became very excited. Okay, let's think about this for a second. There is a live lottery. I got a magazine right here. So, experience the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life every Monday at 1:30 p.m. 1:30 p.m. The lottery results are announced at 1:30, but the poisoning incident happened after 2 p.m. So, in other words... Objection!
Dang, that was
And I got it.
Oh, you got it. Good.
I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong, because I found the hole.
You found the hole.
The announcement.
You definitely found the hole.
Yes, I did find the hole. The announcement that the phony made for the lottery victory was not at the same time as what the flyer stated. It was just after 2. But the lottery flyer says 1:30. So there's a half an hour difference. What do you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week they announce the winning numbers for $500,000 lottery ticket. Oui, that must be the show Mont Elk was listening to. I can't see any problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright. I wonder... You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? Oui, I'm sure of it. I remember that perfectly now. I know it was that time because I had just finished serving the lunch menu. Get to the point, Wright, if you have one. That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. And it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's on the air at 1:30? Now, supposedly the victim somehow made noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet I don't believe his cry of joy could have been occurred at after 2 p.m.
Hi.
Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. No! The victim had been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over, there's only one conclusion we can draw from these facts. The victim was an imposter acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. In order to implicate my client for the murder, there were 2 Glen Elks and Trisbian that day. The real Glen Elk, now dead, has been poisoned by the real killer. And the phony Glen Elk acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness. It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how could you explain the time discrepancy? Quite a performance, right? You're almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. I've already proven one thing. There was a phony. Based on the time discrepancy and the ruptured eardrum. What is this? Music Theory 101? I don't think that's something we'll ever take at U of T.
Music Theory 101?
Yeah.
I would take it.
Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony elk is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain, then, where the real Glen Elk is? I don't believe it. I have to spell this out for the court. However, at the time, the real Glen Elk was already dead. That's certainly the obvious conclusion. But who's the phony? Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. What? Now I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? That's the missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glen Elk, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? That's something I have to prove. The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If the real Glen Elk was dead, where was he hidden? Only for the second act for the Mr. Kudo to witness. If your theory is to stand up to the examination by the court, you must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, right? Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden.
When does that girl with the whip come back?
I think in the last case. Evidence? What's the intense pressure here all of a sudden? I thought I had him with that contradiction. But no, it's not enough! But he's turned it all around and backed me in a corner instead. Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of Elk? Outside Trisbian? No. Inside Trisbian. So, inside Trisbian. It would have to have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Trisbian. Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside the restaurant? In the kitchen. Because it's the only place that could have been. Perhaps you would care to show the court on these plans, Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. The exact location where the body was concealed... here! The body was in here. I see. Nice supposition, but the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was in the location? Give me a second. I'm trying to think. Okay, it was hidden in the kitchen. Why? I don't know. Well, because this bottle was also found in there, so take that! It's not the only thing that was found in the kitchen. Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? Because it is not the only thing that was found in the kitchen.
You're not the only thing that was found.
And somehow I actually got it right. Because you have to think about it for a second. And yeah, it looks like I was nervous because I don't know the answer. But I do know the answer. Do you recognize this bottle? No! No! I've never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality only for me. Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Transbien. Eh? Quoi? But I only have the bottles for aromatherapy. Nope, that bottle was also found in the kitchen. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy bottle, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medicine. That belonged to the victim. Who was killed by ear poisoning.
Poisoning?
Yeah. No, not ear poisoning. He had a ruptured ear, but he was killed by potassium cyanide. This thing right here. What kind of medication? I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elk visited in Earth. Oh god, I can pronounce that.
Yeah, that is hard to pronounce.
Clinic and was given medication that day. I don't know how you can all do that in once. You can't be serious. I know, I can't be serious enough to pronounce that. The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle matched the prescription that was given to Mr. Elliot. Garnetzx murder hid the body in the restaurant in the kitchen, at which time this bottle fell in the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? Mon Dieu. Yes, you know what I'm about to say, and it was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client Maggie Bird. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. No! I broke my flower.
Imagine if court would be this interesting.
Hmm?
Wondering if court is actually this interesting.
No. Real court is boring.
I know. Like,
Order. There's an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Garnetzx? Never! I could not do such an horrible thing.
if you find real court boring, why do you want to get into it?
No! What? That's Godot. He's the one saying no. Oh! Mr. Godot? The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules. Do you have the slightest idea of how many cups you just had by now? Then I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor of In Your Ear, my H-deficit friend? Je vous demande pardon, please, you must hear me out. H-deficits. Because he can't pronounce the H word. It's a trap. Listen to me. Por favor. Now I turned Italian all of a sudden. Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor, Spanish. I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it? No! 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 Absolutely no! I simply... Let's hear it. You've got one shot, right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement.
Wait, is that actually his grandpa?
No. That's just, in the Japanese world, like, Oba-chan is referencing old people in Japanese. It's like, okay, Gramps, let's hear it. Okay, Grandma, let's hear it. When you reference an old person. It's like if you were to look at an old Japanese woman, he was like, hey, Grandma! You know exactly what I want to do. If you lie under oath, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you. And so does my gavel. Oui, it is clear. What do they always say in the movies? I've got a bad feeling about this. Very well, begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong. The confession. It is true. I had left body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it, you must believe me. I pucker up my lips every time I mean it. You were forced. By who? I cannot say, or I will be arrested. Let's try a different question then. Then Mr. Oak died. Was he really the only person at his table? There was another person. There was another man. So now you're finally gonna confess to the other person. Your legs, what?
Need more sun.
Yep. I knew it! Maggie was telling the truth. You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright. There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. Bring that real...
Jeez, look at that compared to my arms.
Get the real killer to testify in court and confess to everything.
Look at this part and then look at my arm.
Mm-hmm.
You see the difference?
Yeah. Alright. Okay. Let's see if I can finish this game rat ass. It is true. I ate the body in the kitchen. Hold it! Did you carry the body by yourself? Oui, I killed him and I killed Maggie too. Maggie too? When she saw the victim collapse, she fainted. I could not leave her there. But why do you hide the bodies? A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. Hold it! What man? Who is he? No, I cannot say. I fear for my life. He's really scared. You'll just have to put the words in his mouth, Nick. Yeah, you're right. If he won't tell me, I'll tell him. But why would you go along with this man? I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. Hold it! And what reason would that be, Mr. Armstrong? You know, monsieur. Yes? Surely you cannot expect a young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment. He sees himself as a woman, so that's okay.
Okay, so...
A maiden, you're a bit too old to get away with that. And a bit too male.
So then it's a woman.
No, it's male. It's just...
But he said woman. Or she said... I don't know. I'm confused.
I'll explain later. I can't finish the cross-examination without establishing his reason. So I'll just have to prove it with evidence. But I did not kill him. I swear, you must believe me. Hold it!
It looks like a dude.
So you're claiming that all you did was hide the bodies, is that correct? Oui, that's right. If we are to believe you, Mr. Armstrong, you must tell the court everything. You must make clear to identify the man who ordered you to do this. He's already confessed this much. You might as well stop dancing around the real issue. Yeah, but he really doesn't want us to tell us who the real killer is. So sock it to him, Nick. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Okay, evidence time. So I have to find the hole this time.
I really want to send this to my mom.
Hmm?
I really want to send this to my mom.
So many broken parents are building broken children. Don't you let this become the foundation of your child's life. Break the cycle. I will. Alright. This is my fun game called...
Wait, you will what?
Break the cycle. Now, here's a fun game I like to call Find the Hole. I'm sure you would like to play that game too.
Yeah, but you've already found the hole.
I think I have.
You know exactly where the hole is.
I think I do know where the hole is. Okay, it is true I hid the body. That's not contradictory. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. I think I know what it is. John's debt was $500,000. The owner of the loan is tender lender. So... Objection! He did have a reason. It was a loan contract. And I got it. If I didn't get it, I would lose 2 bars.
Okay. Oh, damn. It's a good thing you got it.
And if I keep losing bars...
You game over.
Yep. The client is found guilty no matter what because the judge has run out of patience. If I screw up too many times, the judge
That is
will...
a horrible system.
It's
like
based
if it
on...
was real.
Okay, like this...
So it is real.
It's not based on the American core system. This was originally made in Japan. Back in like 2001. On the original Game Boy Advance.
This game's 2001?
Yep. Alright, no, this one, Trials and Tribulations, is 2004. The very first one was 2001. So, it was originally made in Japan. The setting is set in California, but there's elements of Japan in it. Of course, there's going to be Japanese elements to it. But the point is, you have a $500,000 debt, don't you? $500,000? Is this true, Mr. Armstrong? Oui. Je suis just so... I was weak and I borrowed that money. You're $500,000 in the till. Aren't you, Jill? And that's why you couldn't refuse anything he asked you by this man! I think I know who it is. The owner is Tender Lender. And there was one man who's in charge of Tender Lender. The head of the Tender Lender Loan Company, also known as the Tigger. So, take that! Okay.
Yeah.
Good. A $500,000 loan from Black Market Loan Shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you. Oui, it is as you say. Mr. Armstrong, the ticker told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting the victim to demand that he repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to. I had no choice. I carried my body and the conscious Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I tried to forget what I had seen. I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Furio Tigre.
I was just looking at this floor made entirely from pennies.
Where the hell is that?
I don't know, this is dude.
How many pennies would you have to collect to make a floor out of it?
I was told it was impossible, but in fact it wasn't, and I had redesigned my client's bathroom along with having the client's contractor install over 10,000 pennies in this space.
Yeah, well, there's no such thing as pennies anymore.
It took nearly 3 months to collect.
I'm
always up for a cool challenge in creating cool and unique spaces. I'm thinking up more ideas and creating another design using coins.
Interesting.
Why would you could just spend those coins?
I do have one further question for you, Mr.
Wait, imagine, like, I need to take the bus. Whoosh! Picks up a penny from the floor. Breaks it. Picks it up.
Alright.
Change.
I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison and the lottery ticket were found in the defendant's apron pocket. What? What is that?
Worms.
Larbos. Okay.
Would you eat those?
No.
Good.
Poison and the lottery ticket in the front of the defendant's apron pocket. Was that your doing as well? No, I know nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it. I was not. I was despicable. Mr. Godot? You will summon this Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so I'll adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow. Huh? 30 minutes. What? The trial will go on, I'll see it myself. I'll need half an hour to get that guy in the stand on a minute more. How the... Don't sit back and relax yet, trite. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not, so the trial will still go either way. So, very well, your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We will resume once more. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, the court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. To be continued. Tsutsuku. How it is in Japan. Tsutsuku? Yep. That's how you say to be continued.
You don't want my leg on you anymore?
It's fine. Just right here. Right. Alright. Now, trial part 2. January 8th, 1:21 p.m. District Court, defendant lobby number 1. So we're finally going to see the tiger on the stand. We've almost got this case won now, Nick. I wish I could agree. Huh? When I cross-examined Mr. Armstrong just now, he said he was just doing what the tiger told him to do. But Godot picked up on it, remember? He pointed out that without proof, we don't know if what he testified is the truth. So therefore, we're going on a whim. We don't know if it is. You mean, do you think Mr. Armstrong was lying? I don't know, but if it's the line that prosecution takes, could be in trouble. I get the feeling that we don't have the case-making evidence we're going to need. Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe, what are you jumping about? Detective, your hair is standing on end. Hey, that's pot calling the kettle black.
Me when you took my leg off. You can see that was.
Oh, kitty. It's not a top knot. Never mind about the hair. Just calm down, all right? I can't stand it when I don't have the job to do. I could get wound up. Ah, no kidding. You gotta have something you need to do, pal. Anything. Well, hey, I'm gonna jog back down to the precinct. I could get some prints and alleys for you if you got an hour. An hour? The trial will have reconvened by then. But, Nick, we still don't have really decisive piece of evidence, right? True. Without some kind of trump card to pull out of the bag, without some kind of keyhole grabbing technique. We're gonna really stuck. Pull out of the bag, we're really stuck. Because we don't have something that connects Furio to the scene.
Hi.
You said you could get some fingerprints analysis done in an hour. You bet! In that case, would you mind checking the prints on this for me? What do I want? This? No, that already has fingerprints. This? No.
Have you heard of her before?
Unidentified fingerprints in the kitchen.
Have you heard of her before?
No.
She's like a very famous cosplayer.
Who is she?
I met her. She was at Fan Expo like 2 years ago.
Nope. Alright. Take that! If you're going back to the station, Amy, could you find out whose prints are on this? Oh, that's a small ball I gave to you this morning, right? Yeah, I think it's time we solved the last mystery of whose prints belong to. Sure thing, pal. Actually, that's been nodding at me, too. Small bottle given to Detective Gumshoe. Okay, I'll get this stuff up to the lab right away. Just make sure you don't lose the case before I get back. So I gotta buy as much time within an hour. So this is pretty much the final showdown, I guess. It's time to separate the phonies from the real guys. Time to get right down to the bottom of it. January 8th, 1:56 p.m., District Court, courtroom number 4. Final showdown. Last. Coronel Cabine, Mr. Godot, did you find this Furio Tigre? I even tamed him for you. It was a 3-cup job, no problem. 3-cup?
No, I just remembered like Dark Souls 3.
You want to play some Dark Souls?
No, I just remembered like something funny.
Tamed him? The guy's name may be Furio Tigre, but come on! He's pretty lively. Be careful, he still bites. Very well, please show Mr. Tigre to the stand. Tigre. He looks like Phoenix Wright. Witness, please. Ah! Ah! Don't hide under the table, man, unless there is room for me down there, too. Will you mind? What did you say? What did you What?
Table.
Okay.
It's like, gone.
Alright, sit up straight.
I did.
Up straight.
This is straight.
I'll put the camera down so we can see. What did you say to me?
What the heck? I just saw
Nothing! I didn't say nothing honest. Who could have guessed that fear would...
Did he just turn red?
No, he was
Did
always...
he just transform?
No. Okay. No. He did. I didn't transform. He did. Who would have guessed that fear would induce a bad Brooklyn accent in a judge? I got business to take up.
Wait, this is a judge?
No, that's Tigre. In the beginning of this game, this guy posed as Phoenix Wright. He's got the same hairstyle.
Yeah.
Using, like, a fake attorney's badge and a fake suit and got my client guilty. Now I have to fix all this shit up. Because I would take better care of business, you hear me? So who the hell called me into this hole? Was it you, Spiky? No, of course not. It was the judge. Your Honor? Oh dear, I seem to have dropped my pen. Where on earth is it? Don't mind me, just carry on with the proceedings as normal. That's it, we're doomed. Maybe you didn't hear me, I said. Who the hell was it that called me in here? There's no need to shout, we can all hear you. What do you say? There's no point struggling, you're caught in a snare, the relentless snare of the law. I'm so freaking smooth with how I say it. And I'm the one that holds you in. Grr! Too cool. Takes his coffee cup and he's like, yeah, I like to go up to the cabin and I like to have a nice cocoa meal with my marshmallow fire. How would you like to have a marshmallow? Would you like it roasted?
What?
I don't know, that's...
What made you think of marshmallows? Like, which one?
I don't know, I'm trying to pull a really cool accent that's like...
Where did marshmallows come from?
I don't know, I try to pull a nostalgia critic. Don't let it get... Better of you, Nick. Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question, correct? Incident? I don't know nothing about no stinking incident, mask boy. You mean you didn't attend the previous trial of the Maggie Bird? Maggie who? I got more important things to do than watch courtroom dramas. Of course! Well, perhaps you could give us your testimony. So, this witness...
You said testimony, but I thought you said chest money.
Uh-huh. With all the loans he's called in, he probably has a lot of chest money. So, in other words, this witness doesn't know a thing about what happened during the murder trial. So, in other words, he doesn't know a thing, doesn't know any information related to the trial.
Okay, put this in. I have an emergency.
What? You're fine, just the way you are.
Hi.
Just say hi to everybody. Okay, perhaps you could give us your testimony then. Please tell us about what you did on the day of the murder. Phoenix Wright. You was the one who set this up, didn't you? You're gonna regret the day you left for the Tiger's fur. You hear what I'm saying?
You hear what I'm
Gulp,
saying?
maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today. Get a grip, Nick!
That's how I laugh.
The Tiger's alibi. I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up in the business in December last year. Spent all my time in the office. I got whales lined up to the bar cash from 10 to 11 and every day. You just want to check my alibi? Just ask Violetta. Ah, at least I found my pen. Very well. Ah! What is it? Please, witness, if you can refrain from shouting out like that. I know the kind of games that guy in the blue plays. That lowlife ain't no lie, he just punches away at stupid details till he wins. Lowlife, me? Listen up, smarty. Every time you ask me something that doesn't relate to this case, I'm gonna bill you $50,000, and you's gonna borrow the cash from me. That's one loan contractor I refuse to sign. And you think it ain't gonna hurt when you tangle with the tiger? Oh, shite. Ha! I love a good spectator sports. Just a minute! That's not really enough. This witness is, how can I put it, a hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle. Get on his bad side and he'll bite off everyone's head off. Yours too! Very well. I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here. You better be listening. I said I got business to take care of. Big business. If you don't split it now, I ain't gonna catch my bus. The court will impose a penalty for any relevant pressing of the witness testimony. Keep in mind that if you begin your cross-examination, witness Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. You can do it, Nick. Come out from in there, will you? Okay. So, save it, because I know if I press the wrong one, I don't know nothing about no murder. Hold it! Don't buy that you haven't even heard of the incident that occurred to Trish me in. Heh, you got a big mouth, right? You was trying to say I was in that some mob hit, is that what you're trying to say? Where's your proof, then? Evidence? Yes. Well, for an attorney to make an accusation in court, he must have evidence. That's something, you'd have to go to court to know about. How do you know about that? That's from a loan shark to a lawyer, beginner's guide. Yeah. Very steady type, Mr. Traeger. Very good. Ha! Why don't you ask him to represent sometime, Trite? Grr, what should I do? Press harder. If I do press it, I get frigged. Leave it. It's too dangerous to press things without knowing where they might end up. It's better just to focus on gathering information at the moment. Now then, Mr. Traeger, will you mind repeating your testimony from the beginning, please? My time ain't free here. You better remember that. If I miss that bus, someone's gonna pay. I don't know nothing about no murder. Better save it a lot, because I know if I press on something... I was tied up in business December last year. Spent all my time in my office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from tender lender every day. You just want to check my alibi. Business tied up in December last year. I think I know what it is. You want to know how I know?
How?
He said, I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all my time in my office. Now, I have one thing. On December 3rd, the day of the incident, there was a note saying, meet with the tiger. Which is this witness.
Tigre.
So, hold it!
El Tigre.
Are you sure about that? We're talking about 1 month ago, you know. You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is. Your teeth
He's
is your
French too?
No, I'm just making a really horrible Brooklyn accent. Sharp is you're talking about Viola Cadavini?
Oh, gee, that is horrible.
Sorry. It's fine. She writes about everything in my scheduler. December, mainly in the office, that's what it says, so that's where I was. It seems like rather a sketchy schedule. Gah! Oh! There he goes again. What the tiger did all December, this isn't... What the tiger did all December isn't the issue. What's important is what he was doing on the day of the murder, so now what? I think that's the only thing I can press harder, so... What did you do then? Press harder. Mr. Traeger, what do you want? If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail. This is the dead end, Trite, and you know it. Remember the rules. Nope! This one's important. This note is essential to establish a witness's alibi accurately. I agree. The victim was killed on the December 3rd. Where were you? Were you in the office that day too? Maybe you ain't listening. Of course I was. I never set foot outside. I had meeting all day with a bunch of cats wanting to do business with me. I ain't never seen that young kid before. I do believe the witness's last statement was important. Mr. Grado, if you could please. Mr. Traeger, the court asks you to add the last statement to your testimony. Don't let an animal beat you. Be a man, Your Honor, and ask him yourself. The day he was talking about, I was in the office. I never saw that kid before. I have evidence that says otherwise. You want to know what? You know what the evidence is? Because this is how you start connecting the dots. The day he was talking about, December 3rd, I was in the office. I never saw the kid before. Well, this calendar says on December 3rd, the day of the incident, there's a note saying meet with the tiger. So the victim had this note to meet with him, but he's saying to not meet with him. So, objection! That's how you get it. Otherwise, you lose bars. Mr. Traeger, you claim you didn't know Mr. Garnetzx, but it appears that Mr. Garnetzx knew you. What? Mr. Elg left this little note on his calendar. Meet with the tiger, and the date, December 3rd. December 3rd? That's the day of the murder! So, Mr. Traeger, I submit that you did indeed know one Mr. Garnetzx, because on the very day of the incident, you met with them! Gah! Ha 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 ha! Not bad, you's actually not bad. Sorry? I was just messing with you to see how good you are. Do you hear that, Nick? You say you're not bad. That's one compliment I can do without. Plus, he's lying through his teeth. On witness, please remember that you're under oath. Lies will not be tolerated. Were you just calling me a liar? Is that what you're doing? Roll! You're saying that you're claimed to have never seen the kid before. Is that the truth? I said I'm dead serious. You better believe that's the truth. Ha! Then I say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. Sounds like a porno.
It does.
That is...
I wanted to tell you, speaking of porno, like, I was asking my friend how it would sound if I had your last name.
Black magic?
No, if I had your last name.
My last name?
Yes.
What? McDaniel?
Yeah.
You
So,
wouldn't
like,
mind?
So it's like, it would be Star McDaniel, and I said, how does it sound? She says, it sounds like a porn star name.
So what? It would actually work.
Yeah.
That is why you testified for the court again, Mr. Tigre. Ah, yes, would you mind indulging the court witness?
Funny thing is that my initials would not change.
You never actually met the victim. That's gotta be a lie right there. It's time to nail this guy. But I proved that the victim did meet with this guy. The victim, Glen Elk. I ain't no lie, I never met Glen Elk. There was some lame guy with that name, though, wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office, Tender Lender. I waited for him, but he never showed. I ain't never been to that Trisbian joint. You here?
This is like me with you.
Person, I really like you. Half of me. Why? The other half, of course you do. Bitch, I'm amazing. Okay. I see. That all seems perfectly logical.
You're a chicken.
You had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up.
Ow.
It's hard to I heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead. Very well, you may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor.
Sure about that? Dun, dun, dun.
Didn't I tell you I got a big deal going down today? I ain't going to make my bus now. I'm gonna have to take the express train. That bill's going straight to you, rat. Grr.
Cannot do a Brooklyn accent. I can't do one either.
No, I can't.
But neither can I.
I ain't no lie. I never met Glen Elk. I sound like I've broken everything. Hold it! Let me establish. And yet, your name was written on the victim's calendar. Get that horse calendar out of my face. I'm the tiger, not a lame horse, you porcupine.
When it's all...
He also has the same hair as well.
Oh yeah, your sister has a
Tigers
hedgehog.
like me eat horses like that for breakfast.
Dude, I just remembered your sister has a hedgehog.
Yeah, he does. She does.
Yeah. Well, I guess...
No, the witness, aren't you permitted to eat evidence? You aren't permitted to eat evidence, not that they ever would. Well, there was a case once where a young lad once ate. Anyway, if you never met the victim before, how do you explain the snow lap? I think the judge was referring to Phoenix at one point. What time is it? 10:30. We got plenty of time. You never met the victim before? How do you explain this note he left? There was some lame guy with that name, though, wanted to borrow cash from me. Hold it! That's very strange. According to the manager on the firm where the victim worked, December 3rd was the date he had to repay his loan. He wasn't due to discuss borrowing money, but repaying what he owed. Oh, yeah. Maybe he was right. Whatever it was going down at the beginning of December. So do you meet Mr. Glenelg then? Hey, right. You might want to cool you just a sec. Says a person who is red all over the face. I was set up to meet with the guy at my office, Tender Lender. Hold it! So your meeting wasn't supposed to be at Trisbian then? Why would I want to go to a dump like that? If you want to talk to my clients, I got an office decked out for the job. I got the best punching bag you ever saw in there. Not exactly a professional office you got there, you know. So you were in your office on the day in question. I was waiting for him, but he never showed. Hold it! He didn't show up? Ha! What do you think, Trey? Let's see, how does a dead man get from a French restaurant to a loan shark's office? And you yourself didn't go to the Trisbian. What are you trying to pin on me here? Why don't you come down to my office? We can chat about this thing my way, yeah? You got the best I got the best punching bag you've ever saw in there. No need, I'm good, thanks. Listen up, I ain't got nothing more to say except this. I ain't never been to that Trisbian joint. You's here? Hold it! Never? Not even once. Not even once. I was in my office that day. Where?
came here.
Okay, you want to lay down for a bit? It's okay.
You guys should lay down?
Are you tired?
What does it have to do with my collarbone?
Or do you want to keep watching?
Go ahead.
Keep watching. Not even once. I was in my office the day I went down. I didn't put no poison in no kid's coffee. I didn't ask about poison. Capiche? Do you think he really didn't meet Garnetzx? He said he didn't know about the details of the murder. Why would he mention poison in a coffee?
Because coffee is poison.
Because he's lying straight through his teeth. He did know, and he's pretending not to know.
What if he's lying through his nostrils?
That's a different story. People don't talk through their nose. You think he really didn't mean it, Garnetzx? Not likely, because I'm convinced this guy's behind the whole thing. So you mean the whole testimony he gave was just a lie? Of course. We can't afford to give him one time to think of ways to plug the leaks in it. Gotta nail him while I still can. I ain't no liar. Okay, so... What? I'm a liar. There was the lame guy with the name, though, wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with the guy at my office tender lender. From me, every show, never been to that Trisbiant. Okay, is there evidence?
Okay, imagine, I'm just imagining someone talking through their nose. Like, their mouth isn't even moving. Like, just think about that.
Alright, relax. Relax. Okay, evidence that says he was in that restaurant. Blueprints, died of potassium cyanide, a photo taken from near the kitchen, a winning ticket.
Ow!
What? You okay?
My ribs.
Keyboard, computer virus.
Okay, I'm good.
Viola's, Trisbian matches. Ooh. I ain't never been to that Trisbian joint. You's here? Alright. This guy is saying he's never been to that restaurant.
Oh.
Do you believe him?
No.
And I have proof. Why? Because here, Trisbian matches.
You mean très bien?
Found in Tender Lender, which is owned by this guy. These matches that belong to the restaurant he said he didn't go to were found in his office. So, objection!
You sound so different.
Mr. Trigger, is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches? Matches? What are you talking about? We found them in your office at Tender Lender. They're from that restaurant. What? If you've never really been to Trisbian before. What was this book of...
You just make it sound like lesbian.
I make it sound lesbian?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's lesbian.
What was a book of the restaurant's matches doing on your desk? You've been snooping around my stuff now too, wise guy. What are you, my ball and chain, and no broad controlling me. Order, order. Well, witness, I think it's time you started telling us the truth, don't you? Ah! Sorry, I'm terribly sorry, forgive me. I ain't no pussycat. I don't go back on what I said. But, okay, I was at that joint that day. You said you were not.
Lucky.
I know. What? But listen good, alright? I might have been there, but I still never met that kid. Uh-huh. Want to say hi to the viewer? Well, well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony. I'm this close to proving it was him. He did meet Garnetzx that day, and he did put poison in his coffee. He must have. At Trisbian.
They left because they didn't like me.
It's fine. They don't like me either.
It's okay. You're really unlikable.
I was supposed to
Okay,
be...
but you're unlikable. Like, I'm very lovable, but you're, like, not likable.
And yet you're with me.
And I'm just joking.
I was supposed to meet with that kid at the restaurant that afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cop sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office.
Live a good, honorable life. Then, when you get older and think back, you'll be able to enjoy it a second time.
I wonder if these
Gee,
refer...
that sentence I wish I did not read.
Why, you did not lead a good, honorable life?
Well, not yet.
You will, once you're here. I see, so you didn't actually meet him with the end then. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Well, I mean, I kinda
Yes, Your Honor.
did, but like...
Hold it! If I went around here any longer...
You haven't started it yet fully.
You're fine. I can go and make the normal express. No more stupid questions. Ha! No problem.
Don't lose the lesson.
Anytime Trite presses you on something irrelevant, I'll see you pays a penalty. Mr. Godot, that's my job. Your job is to slam that little gavel of yours and call a guilty verdict. So do it. Yes, sir! The Special Express ain't cheap, right? Just so yous know, since yous paying. Oh, man. Doesn't the rule of law mean anything around here? I gotta find another problem with what he just said. Otherwise, he'll keep lying through his teeth all the time. I was supposed to meet with the kid at the restaurant that afternoon. You were? So he's saying he wasn't in the restaurant, now he's saying he is in the restaurant. Hold it! So the meeting wasn't due to take place at Tenderletter at all, then. The kid was making a fuss about coming into the office. It's always that way when I want to talk about repayments, even though I got the best punching bag you've ever seen if there are any issues. Maybe it's because of the punching bag that people are scared to come, so that's why you decided to meet at Trisbian. Ha! You're going over an old ground again, Trite. Sorry. You just earned yourself a penalty, now suck it down. You'll suck down the penalty, Mr. Wright, so I actually got a hit. Shit. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Okay, so... I have to press on something... And when I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out over the table, stiff as concrete. I figured the place wasn't hot already, I was gonna split. I heard the cops siren on my way out, and I went straight back to my office. Okay, so... When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid over the table, stiff as concrete. He was dead. Anyone could have seen that. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. You left. I heard the cops siren on my way out, and I went straight back to my office. What if I just press the other ones?
Where did you get this poster?
Where was it? It was that place. Sims... No, it was that one college area.
I just remembered, like, one of my friends, like, read something in a poster, and then, like, one of the things that, like, on it said, ask people, what are your dreams? And then he turns to me and he's like, what are your dreams?
Hold it! An ugly scene? What do you mean? Oh, you're gonna penalize me for that. The witness has already told us Trite, which makes this question irrelevant. But... You're not gonna let me talk, are you? I'll limit myself to 70 cups of coffee during the trial. That's the rule. You better limit the number of times you take a penalty, Trite. Or your guts will look like the inside of a chimney. Ashen! Don't make me burn you again, Mr. Wright. Okay, so that statement doesn't work. I guess I shouldn't have pressed him on that. I guess you're gonna have to make the Special Express after all. So, to recap, this ugly scene you saw was... The guy laid out at the table stiff as concrete. You wanna lay down? So, process of elimination. The first two parts are not good. How many do I got? 3, 4, 5. Okay, I figured if the place wasn't hot enough, it was gonna be, so I split. Why?
You're so fucking, you just want to pee all the time.
Hmm?
You're so fucking, you want to pee all the time.
I know. I heard the cop sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office. Okay. I'm gonna press the last 3 statements. If all of them are penalty, then that means I got a contradiction. So, hold it! Yes, you saw Glenn Elk's dead body. I guess I did, but I only saw him from behind.
Very appetizing.
So many close the hat. And what time was this? I don't know. Huh? You know that winds me up more than anything in the world? Watches, round watches. I ain't gonna pollute my paws with some ticking henpecker. Out of interest, Mr. Kirigoro, what winds you up the second most? Huh? What do you think? Square watches. Okay, so round watches piss him off, and then square watches also piss him off. Is this guy for real? Look, all I need to know is that something bad was going down the place. Okay, so I figured that the place can already be. There's gotta be. Are you watching the live stream on your phone? Nope. Oh well. If the place wasn't hot already. Alright, you can lay down, don't worry. If the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. Hold it! So you didn't actually set foot inside the restaurant then. The Tigger was a busy cat. I don't hang around for no one. I ain't got no time to be caught up in no mood of investigation. Yep. So, when exactly do you pick up the matches? There aren't matches just inside the front door. Our detective friend would have wound up in trouble with the chef after taking 5 books home. Poor Gumshoe, it's almost enough to make a man cry. I heard the cop siren on my way out, and I went straight back to my office. Hold it! You went straight back. Did a bout of guilt suddenly hit you for what you did? What are you trying to say? You trying to tell me you ain't never been guilty of nothing? We all have our crosses to bear. We all have to swallow the dark secrets we hide. Like this! The dark courtroom's not exactly the place to talk about dark secrets, is it? It seems you've done it again, Mr. Wright. Another relevant line of questioning. I impose a penalty accordingly. Shit! How about a penalty for those 2 jokers in the garbage they keep coming up with? Well, Nick, what do you think? He's running out of ways to avoid the truth. I need to press him fast before he has time to think things through. I've got to come up right back at him with the contradiction. Be careful what you press him on, or we'll get penalized, okay? Okay. A lot of them are penalties. 3 and 4 are not penalties. The rest of them are penalties. Can't keep taking any more hits. Okay. Saw one ugly scene. Of course there was an ugly scene. The guy was laid over this table stiff as concrete. Yes, he was. Wait! You want to see what I'm thinking? Come here. He didn't see anything. You want to know why? Do it. I think I know why. Get up.
I feel like a potato.
Up! Alright. I'll show you. So, this guy is saying, when he opened the door in the restaurant, he saw an ugly scene. You think he's telling the truth?
His face doesn't look like his.
True. You want to know how? Let me show you a little something. Blueprints for the crime scene. Here's the door, and here's the crime scene. What's wrong with this picture?
There's something blocking
Yep.
the view.
A wall.
Yeah.
Do you think if he opened the door, he would have seen the crime scene?
No.
Exactly. So, objection! Couldn't have seen it unless he was directly inside the restaurant. You're something of a loan-collecting pro, aren't you, Mr. Tigre? No one escapes the tiger's clutches. Well, I'm something of a lie-detecting pro. And no one escapes the phoenix clutches. I think it's time we got something straight. What's this, try a new line of irrelevant questioning? No, no penalties this time. These are the floor plans of the crime scene. You say you saw this... You say you were standing at the entrance, Mr. Tigre. From there, your field of vision would have covered the area something like this. Indeed, the witness would have a clear view of the victim's seat. Isn't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head. Nope. Unfortunately for you, that is not possible. If the court would think back, you'll remember that between each of the tables is a tall partition. Why? That's true! Now look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. from the entrance of field of vision for any customer walking in ends here. He couldn't have seen it. Now he's nervous. So, from the entrance of Trilogy meeting, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day because you met with them! Wrong! Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table. Nope. But now we have a new victim saying it was this person coming in. But the defense just proved that point to be moot. The victim witnessed by Mr. Kudo was not Glenn, but a fake. What? In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer posed as the victim he had just killed and acted out a charade. That will do. This trial has gone on long enough without the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was this real killer impersonating the victim? You say that the killer murdered Glenn Elk, and then impersonated his victim in the performance for Victor Kudo. In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of the criminal to the court. I think we know who it was. Him. So, take that! Are you tired?
I zoned out.
The killer is Fury Tigray. No one else could have done it! What? Well, witness? Grahaha, now that's cute. You was thinking you can pin this on the tiger? Maybe you don't understand. Who dare say it again? Come on, you got the guts? You can't threaten me, Mr. Jigger. It's the defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright. I will. Oh crap. Mr. Wright! Sounds like to me you got old man, you've got guts, I'll give you that. Mr. Wright, do not leave me to handle this alone. Ha! Perhaps I can end this embarrassment. Mr. Kudo? Let's just go back to Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't see just the victim. Oh, no, no, no. The serving girl brought him a Javakuno, but she put something in it. There's no question about it. He's very capricious to put some white powder in there. Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains he saw the accused put the poison in the coffee. Yes, it was it. What? Very impressive, Mr. Kudo. Waiting for my absence to launch your attack. Ha! Found your pen at last, right? It was in my pocket. Ahem, but anyway, Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glenn Elk, and the waitress from behind. Yes, your point, Mr. Wright? I think the conclusion is obvious. If this Glenn Elk was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible the waitress was also part of the show. What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well? The defendant, Miss Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her. Who on earth was it? Who was this waitress that Mr. Kudo witnessed? I think I know who it was. Her. So, she was the one that did it. So, take that! Who is this woman? Her name is Viola Cadaverini. She's an employee of Tenderlender. And the granddaughter of a mob boss, Bruto Cadaverini. You was making a big mistake. Do you know who Violetta grandfather is? You better be going home in an armored... You better be going home in an armored truck tonight, if you know what I mean. Oh, I know exactly the one I'm thinking about. Stop shaking, Nick. Where was I? Yes, the defendant, Miss Bird, has stated the following. Well, then, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy. She had a kind of cackling laugh. So she was also at the restaurant at the time when the original murder happened. There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table, nobody but Miss Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when that eardrum was ruptured. And the radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after is over. There is only one logical explanation that clears up all these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice! One for real and once for the show. And Mr. Fury Tiger, the only person who could have committed the crime, is you! Witness, what have you got to say? That's cute. Sorry? You's alright. I could do with a guy like you around. What do you mean? Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have a charter jet to get me in my meeting now, but I'm gonna give you one more thing to go think about before I go. Something to think about. You've got it all wrapped up nice, alright. But you've missed out one important thing. But they can't be. I was in the joint that day, and I met that kid too. But I couldn't have poisoned him. You see ya? What? You really expect us to believe you now, Mr. Tigray? Ha! What a troublemaker. Trouble? Looks like we're gonna need another one for the road. Because he drinks a lot of coffee. One more steaming cup of hot testimony. Are you tired? I know it's gone on for a little more than an hour. Indeed, witness, you'll explain yourself to the court. I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Trisbian between yourself and the victim? Oh, crap.
His face.
Hmm?
His face. Oh.
The face. The tongue sticking out. Yeah, I loaned El Cash about $100,000. That day, we was due to have a little chat. The kid had hit his paycheck date, see? So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten this guy. He starts screaming. Yes, I won $500,000. He got lucky, you know. Real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she done, everything would have been over. Now, I see the principal amount you loaned Mr. Elk was $50,000. Yeah.
Oh, great.
It's okay, you don't have to get up.
Of course.
What happened?
Fuck.
What happened?
She's asking what time I'm gonna be home.
What time do you want to leave?
Like, I don't know.
Midnight? Don't worry.
Okay, there's only 1 hour left till midnight.
It's alright. I'll have you out. Got a big to take into account. Interest builds up fast.
There's only 1 hour left till midnight.
It's fine. I'll wrap this up. It'll only take like half an hour, 45 minutes. It won't take that long. Maybe one. You say you can take an Uber, but don't take an Uber. TTC ends at 1:30ish, so you'll have enough time to get up.
Should I just leave now?
No. You're fine. You're fine. That's faster than fast. $100,000 is twice this principal. And the real repay deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question. Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got $500,000 just in time. So I ain't having no reason to kill the kid. And I ain't got no motive, so you ain't got no case. His motive, He has to have one, but what is it? What was his motive? Ties to the victims. Yeah. Why was Tigray's motive for killing Glen Elk? Hold it! Yeah, did he have any way of paying the loan back? The fool was a gambler. He said he couldn't give it up until he landed a big win. So I agreed to help him. Helped him? You? I kept hitting him with ideas for ways he could get big win, but the guy kept losing. So you were helping him out for his sake or yours? Win through compromise. You helped me, I helped yours. What's the difference, huh? I don't believe this. Nick, would anyone really ever loan money to someone they thought was unreliable? Like, for example, if it were you, I'd only loan you max $5 max. Thanks a lot, Maya. That day was due to have a little chat. The kid got...
You know what? Like, should I just go home?
You want to get going?
Should I go now? Just like...
Nah, in an hour from now. Don't worry. We'll get this wrapped up.
Just saying, you don't have to worry about wrapping up.
You want to go now?
Well, you don't have to worry about wrapping it up.
Literally? Literally?
What? You're not gonna have enough time.
Okay. So, the day we was due to have a little chat, the kid had hit his payback, date C. Hold it! So how much were you...
Okay, what?
You wanna... You really want me to live stream?
Oh, that's up to you.
No, I'm gonna finish it.
Alright, I'll get going.
Okay. You can get going. Is there anything you want to take with you? Like, fruit? You can take some stuff with you on the way out, okay? I'll give you a bag. Some groceries, unless you want to come back tomorrow after 4. Expecting my favorite. I just want to finish this. It's been a while since I finished this, so I'll get to it. Expecting to pay you back? What do you think? The whole package, $100,000, includes interest. That's a real heavyweight punch. Once a client misses a payment, you call the whole loan in. You want to make it in my world, that's what you gotta know. And how many times had Mr. L been late with his repayments? Once. And how much was he supposed to pay back every month? $50. Sounds like Mr. L was in a really tight spot, sticky spot. Yeah, $50 a month, he'd never pay a loan that huge off. So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to back pay up. Hold it! How much did he have left on his debt? You want it rounded in figures? About $100,000. That's the whole amount. We're talking about a guy who had 58 cents in his wallet. What? He was telling me he wasn't even going to pay for the coffee? He certainly seems to have been a brave man, this Mr. Olive. That guy was smooth, I tell you. He was real smooth. You'll have your money in less than 5 minutes. That's what he says to me. The guy then called me the tender tiger. He was skating on thin ice with me. I'm about to flatten this guy when he starts screaming, "Hold it!" Was that because the guy who won the lottery, was his last... What? What, you and me? Just like that? You couldn't wait a few minutes. What do you mean? You're gonna solve this. You want me to end the live stream to talk with you about this?
Right now, yeah.
Alright. I gotta take a break. I'm gonna finish this live stream off tomorrow, and I'll be right back with everybody.